In my life, there's been two questions I've been asked a lot. One is, you talk a lot. Well, that's not really a question, that's a statement. But the second one is a question. Something I've heard ever since I was little, and that is, how can you smile so much? Or, how are you always happy? I never really see you frowning. Well, the answer really isn't what you would think. Hey everyone. So, how do we have joy in the midst of hard times? How do we smile when things are going against us? How do we find our happy in the midst of distressing circumstances? Well, I don't have a quote unquote magical solution or a mysterious solution, but I do have the word. And the first thing that I would do is contrast happiness with joy. See, if I were to define happiness to my little almost 1 year old, and she were to ask me, Mommy, what does happy mean? I would simply define it as, baby, it's when you're not sad. It's when you're able to put a smile on your face without trying. It's when you aren't crying. You know, all these are emotion words, but joy, I don't know if I could explain that to her, because the definition is so much richer, is so much more to joy than just our emotions. See, in John chapter 14 through 16, Jesus is talking to his disciples, and one thing that he's repeating over and over again is his joy. He's telling them the importance of staying connected to him and how he will give them his joy when they are connected to him. He even lets them know that they're going to experience some negative emotions, because when they're connected to him and when we are connected to him, the world is going to reject us. The world is going to rejoice at our grief. The world is going to feel happy when we are sad. But Jesus said that if you were inside of me, I can give you my joy, his joy. And you know, even when you look throughout the whole New Testament, when joy is repeated, oftentimes it's repeated in the midst of troubling circumstances. For example, James is Jesus' biological brother. He was one of Mary's other baby boys, and he wrote a book, and he starts off his book talking to the Jews who were Christians. And he says, brothers, consider it all joy when you fall into troubling circumstances, into trials, into things that weigh you down, into things that knock you out. Consider it joy. And then even the Bible teaches us that when Jesus was on his way to the cross, he considered it joy. He despised the shame of the cross, but he considered it joy because he looked past the cross. So the Bible lets me know that my joy is not the absence of negative emotions or the absence of troubling circumstances. Joy comes to me in the midst of things going wrong. So how do we find joy? How do we have joy in the midst of all these horrible things? Well, when Jesus was talking once again in John chapter 14 through 16, he's letting his disciples know that when we are inside of him, that means we have to choose him. He can give us his joy, and that joy can't be stolen from us. The world can't take it away. The world can't steal that joy. See, Mia's joy can be robbed in the middle of the night. But it's Jesus' joy when we cling to him. So on today, I encourage you to not choose you, to choose Jesus. We choose him by talking to him, by opening up our mouths and having a conversation with him. Let him know the things that are going wrong, the things that are working against us, and taking the time to hear back from him. We choose Jesus and we choose his joy when we open up our word to see what he wrote to help us in our circumstances. We choose Jesus when we go to church and we don't forsake the assembly of the brethren. We choose Jesus. In spite of everything that goes wrong, I choose him. So on today, I want to encourage you. Things may be going crazy in your world, or you might just have one bad day. Things may be okay, but just one bad moment. I want to encourage you to choose Jesus, because when you choose Jesus, he can give you his joy. And when he gives you his joy, that joy can't be stolen from you. I pray you've been blessed.